Signing autographs. What do we do now?
I'm on top.
Signing autographs, taking pictures, trying to be pleasant.
There aren't any active current Monkee plans.
Not between us. Micky's working.
I do solo shows, and
I'm working on an album actually for Shoe Suede Blues, my blues band. We're doing a tribute to Leadbelly, of whom you may not have heard, but who was this huge figure in my youth as a folk singer. Wrote and brought us dozens of wonderful songs, and we're hoping to do that justice. That'll be out this year, so keep your eyes open and your pocketbook open.
I'm doing solo shows. Like I say, there's no active Monkee plans, but I've learned never to say never. You never know. We're still riding on the crest of the wave on good times, frankly, and the record company is doing the same. But you never know, just watch the skies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm doing solo shows.
And by the way, Micky's doing solo shows.
Did I say that I'm doing solo shows? Check out my website, Micky Dolenz solo shows.
Don't check my website. I don't.
Hello. I've been a friend of you guys since I was a little girl. My dad used to play a song that I requested all the time, was Gonna Buy Me a Dog. And next March is my wedding, and he actually is trying to pull me of that to be our father-daughter dance.
I'm sorry, say again.
The Gonna Buy Me a Dog.
Yeah, I got that part.
He wants to make that our father-daughter dance at my
okay.
wedding.
I don't see how you can dance to that song.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. Would you know any in your repertoire of a song that's softer and sweeter for a father-daughter dance?
Softer and sweeter than Gonna Buy Me a Dog?
Yeah.
How about I'm Not Your Stepping Stone? There aren't too many that aren't sweeter than Gonna Buy Me a Dog. I don't know, you have to, actually the thing about Gonna Buy Me a Dog is you want to hire a stand-up comedian just to do jokes. A girl just called me up and she woke me from my sleep. You should have heard the thing she said. You know, she hurt my feelings deep. We're going to buy me a dog. Why? Because John already has a raccoon. That kind of stuff. You know. Can I have a glass of water? Why? Are you thirsty? No, I want to see if my neck bleeds. That's all Buy Me a Dog was all about. You don't remember?
Really stupid.
Yeah.
The story behind that, which I think everybody probably has already heard, they actually wanted us to sing it straight, David and I, and actually sing it legit. Girl, that was my top thing, and it done that. And we looked at each other and went, we cannot sing this. This is just too creepy. I'm serious. And we just said, we can't. It's a Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart. There's no way. I'm a 22-year-old man. I cannot sing this weird, creepy song about a little girl and her dog. And so Davey and I just started goofing on it. And to their credit, the producers, Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart, and the writers, and the record company, and everybody, they said, let's go with it. Let's run with it. And it's become a little bit of a classic, I suppose. Never done it on stage because it was. Oh, have you?
I have.
We just, because it was totally improvised. I mean, it was totally just Davey and I in the studio, probably 4 sheets to the wind, just, you know, making fun of it and goofing on the whole thing. And I love it. I listen to it occasionally. Every now and I hear it, it's like really funny. But you can't really duplicate that. I've never felt that we could, you know, sort of duplicate
I was in
that.
Africa playing cards with the natives.
Oh, Zulus?
No, I usually won. You guys laugh at that means you haven't heard the record in too long. Go listen to the record. The jokes should be stale by now.
Hi, Micky and Peter. You did a Christmas episode with Butch Patrick. How was that experience?
It's fine.
Can you repeat it one more time?
How was it doing? How was the Christmas episode?
You did the Christmas episode of the Monkees with Butch Patrick, who played Eddie Munster. How was
Butch
that
was here.
experience?
Butch was here yesterday. I understand. I was supposed to go see him. I didn't get a chance. If he's here today, I'm going to say hi. Yeah, Butch has been a lot of fun ever since. In fact, I did a show at a place called Tuts in Chicago, and Butch was on the bill with us. Butch was doing a kind of just a stand-up, showbiz comedy bit, and I was with my band, my then band, the Peter Tork Project. Wild bunch of crazy rock and roll punk guys and me. Kind of a strange combination, but I'm not your stepping. Worked out Not Your Stepping Stone really well. And there he was on the bill too. It was a lot of fun. So, it was just at the day, every time somebody comes on as a guest actor, you go, hi, how do you do? And you do the lines as best you can, and then you go home. And that's all there is to it. So that's what it was like with Butch. For me.
Thank you.
Good morning.
That's not a question.
I was curious, through the years, have you guys ever had a chance, since you're in St. Louis, welcome to St. Louis, by the way, have you ever had a chance to tour with Chuck Berry? He's being buried today here in St. Louis. And I was just wanting to know if you've ever...
Not me. I bumped into him a couple times. I think tour buses passing in the night. I remember once doing some show somewhere, and somebody said Chuck Berry just finished or something like that. No, I would love to have hung out with him, but unless you live in the same place and you're on the same tour, it sometimes is unlikely. But I do have a claim to fame with Chuck Berry in that, as many of you may already know, my audition piece for the Monkees was Johnny Be Good. And that got me the gig. And I do it in my solo show, and I tell the story of it being because I was a huge fan, Chuck Berry fan, and all of that genre of music. That was my roots, was Little Richard and Fats Domino, Jerry Lee Lewis, Nat King Cole, and good old rock and roll. And my audition piece was Johnny Be Good.
Neat. That's neat.
I actually was on a bill with him with one of my solo bands, and we in those days, Chuck was a little bit bitter, just a little bit bitter, and we did our show, no sign of Chuck. He's due on in about 3 minutes. He drives up in his station wagon, pulls out his guitar, and goes up on stage. In his contract, he insists that the promoter provided him with a backup band. And he loved to rag on his band. Whoever it was, they weren't good enough, and he would play, and you were supposed to know it was Maybelline. He played, and that was another song. And you were supposed to know these things. Well, this day, on this particular day, this little gang of white kids knew all of that. And you should have seen his face light up. He said, who said the white folks can't play the blues? He was practically doing hallelujahs all over the stage.
What about Elvis Presley? Have you guys ever met Elvis?
Stuff him.
No, I never did.
No?
I saw him in Vegas, towards the end there, in that Las Vegas run. He did acknowledge me in the audience. Yeah, I was sitting there at the Sands Hotel or wherever it was, and he acknowledged me, but I never met him.
He's a funny guy. Was a funny guy. That's the thing about him. I wish that people had known better how funny and weird, offbeat, really offbeat sense of humor. He once, Steve Martin said that he met Elvis, and Elvis said to him, "Son, you got an oblique sense of humor." I got one too. Anyway, so I wish I'd gotten a chance to hang with him on that account.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to St. Louis.
Good to be here. Is that a weapon in your hand, or are you just happy to see me?
Hi, guys. Just my camera. I've been a fan of yours since I was 12. I took my first money I ever earned at 12 years old and bought a Monkees album.
That's how we're so rich.
My question is today with the fandom and things like that, what are your guys' view as far as a comparison of the fandom that you're having now with the new album of Good Times, comparatively so to back then in the 60s?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do my best. It's much better now, much, for me, because for two really good reasons. One is that the intensity of the fandom in the early days was much stronger. It was everybody's first, I mean, like you guys said, you know, your first thing. But these were, I can't get into enough detail to make it really clear. But the other half of this thing is I didn't know anything about what was going on. And you know, there is no school for fame. Because those of us who got into the fame game did it. I don't know about whether you agree with this, Micky, but my take is that we got into the fame game because, I'll tell you for myself, if I could get the millions to love me, it wouldn't matter that I felt like kind of out of place at home. So, and incidentally, it doesn't work. Getting the millions to, you paying attention out there? Oh. And now, it's much more congenial. It's like, we're in this together. You guys come and listen to us, we like to talk to you. And even though there's a certain, you know, there's this barrier, this table here, still it feels much more like my community, my gang to me, than the other did. I didn't know what you crazy suckers were doing in 1966. I did not know. You were, why are you doing that? I'm just trying to play a little music. I went to hear the Beatles show. We were together, we'd started, but we hadn't hit the public airwaves yet. We went to go see a Beatles show, and I could not understand it. These kids were screaming their faces off, and I'm going, shut up, this is the greatest rock and roll band of all time, and you guys aren't listening. So that was a little tougher than this. I'm telling you, that was tougher than this. This is nice.
Thank you. Micky, nothing?
Sorry?
Nothing?
Oh,
No comparisons?
You know, I grew up in the business, so
Right.
And I never had any desire for fame. I just sort of followed in my father's footsteps, and my mother, but more my father, I guess, because he was quite successful as an actor. I just was following in their footsteps. I eventually, after high school, I had a TV show as a kid. But again, I never had the desire for fame or fortune in show business. I never had a craving to be on stage and have people, you know, yelling and shouting and clapping. I literally was just following in my father's footsteps. And after high school, when I decided to get a real job, I thought about time I grew up and got a real life, I was going to be an architect. And then I was in school studying to be an architect when the Monkee audition came along. And I wasn't stupid. I mean, I knew that you could make money and you could, you know, but I was going to be an architect, and if I couldn't make it as an architect, I was going to fall back on show business. Serious. I figured, you know, I could make a living doing day jobs and little guest shots here, and I was doing some, it was like a summer job. When I wasn't in school, I was doing guest shots on old shows like Mr. Novak and Peyton Place and things like that. But I was going to be an architect. And then the Monkee pilot came along. And I wasn't stupid. I was auditioning for pilots that year. And I got it. But I didn't even quit school when I got the pilot, because I knew that pilots most of the time don't sell. Only 1 out of 10 will sell. I was up for 3 or 4 pilots that year, music-oriented shows actually. So it was in the air. I do remember that I thought this Monkee thing is kind of cute and different. It was different from the other music pilots shows that I had been up for. I got the pilot, but I didn't even quit school. I just took a week off to do the pilot. We shot down in San Diego, and I went back to school. And I don't know how long later, weeks or months, I guess, my agent called and said they sold the show. And then I quit school because I obviously couldn't do both at the same time. Started, doing the series.
After the pilot, I went back to Connecticut where my folks lived. And I was hanging out there at my folks' house. And finally I said, I haven't heard anything. I wonder what's up. And I called somebody. They said, you didn't leave a number. We didn't know where to find you. The show is sold. Come out here. I went, okay. My father handed me a shot of Doers or something. Congratulatory Doers. So,
Thanks, fellas.
You mentioned seeing the Beatles, but was it in '67 you guys actually outsold the Beatles?
I've heard that.
You outsold the Beatles in '67 and the
So-
Rolling Stones, like combined, right?
I always thought it was just because they both were between albums. And we were outselling them at that moment.
Okay.
Because, didn't I hear this correctly? Headquarters spent 1 week in the #1 slot, subsequently followed by a record-breaking run of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, something like that.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question, so perfect.
There's one more person.
There you go.
No, that's you, sir.
I really actually don't have a question. I just want
Well, to heck with you then.
All right. Where's the hook? Where's the hook? Now, I just want to tell you guys, I've been enjoying your music all my life. I enjoy your solo work. I enjoy your stage work, your comedy. Everything about you guys has always been top.
Yes, we're great.
I was so excited when I saw the Good Times was coming out. It did not disappoint. I loved it as much as the rest. So I really just wanted to say thank you for 50 years of entertaining me and for all the good times.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a perfect way to end. Great end.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Another round of applause.